Hiba here. Now, do I have a battle for you today? And I think this battle here really exemplifies how powerful a ship Des Moines really is, especially with my anti-dispersion build here that I've just come to love. But first, don't forget to like, share, comment, and obviously subscribe if you like the content. But as I said, this is a Des Moines video, and like I mentioned in another video, I just unlocked the ship a day or two ago after having it for a few weeks as a CC, and I played 5 battles yesterday with my anti-dispersion build, and I mean, it seems to work pretty well. Like I say, I can't give any definite, facts or numbers, but to me, it seems extremely good. So I'll just go through the build with you here, and of course, it's expensive. It's a premium commander, the base commander here, Montpellier, and you need Vian. And of course, the higher level, the better. I have him fully maxed. And then Azuma, so he's almost maxed at 16.2. And then on Montpellier is the third row. That's where you get all-out assault. It gives you plus 10 incoming fire dispersion. So I add that up with Viang's 4% and Azuma's 1.8. And the 5% you get for the concealment module and the 4.5% for the camo. It turns out to be something, I don't know, somewhere around 25-26%, right? I think so. Anyway, it's a lot, and it's going to really mess up, the this dispersion of even the best player. And don't forget to switch to radar. I always mention that because the Des Moines comes standard with a plane, so you have to change that. Well, you don't have to, but I strongly suggest that you do. Now, unfortunately, this build only works with the American ships and American cruisers in particular, because Montpellier is an American commander, and it's not her base perk. It's one of her personal perks that you can only use on the nation for which the commander belongs, which is the US, of course. So, so far, this build here is only possible on American cruisers, and it's not really worth doing it any other ship because you're missing out on the 10% additional dispersion or incoming dispersion that Montpellier gives you, and really that's the whole point of the build. If you just put the Viang and Azuma on, I don't think you're gonna get the same results, unfortunately. It's also a build that's pretty much made for American cruisers, more or less, simply because you spend so much time bow in these things here. So like the worse the incoming dispersion is, the better for you, really, because you're going to eat less shells, and I can definitely feel that. Again, I can't give you any numbers or any comparisons or anything like that, and I'm trying to set up some time with Peak on the weekend where we can, perhaps if we're lucky, we'll be able to do count-ins and end up in the same game, and if we're even luckier, maybe we get a spawn close to each other. And if we're even luckier, we might actually be able to shoot at each other. And then I want to know, want to have Peak shooting at me, and I want him to tell me if he feels that his, dispersion or RNG or whatever you want to call it, is a lot worse than it usually is. Again, it's going to be, a feeling from the both of us. But like I said, I definitely feel like this build here works wonders. It's actually extremely good. So if we just look at the gameplay here, there's only one destroyer in the game, and I've already radared him, and no one was able to take him out. So I'm just taking a page out of the Agile Cruiser book here, because this is just an opportunity I cannot let go. Like the red destroyer is not running away. He's sticking around here, around the cap. So if I can remove him as quickly as possible here in the beginning of the game, that's going to give my team a massive advantage. And I'm pretty sure he's just on the other side of the island here. Well, I am actually sure because he's on the map. And he's not expecting a Des Moines to, come in and be less than 4 kilometers from him. And, I mean, this is an Agile Cruiser trick that, I'm only doing it because there's pretty much no red ships even anywhere close to this DD here. They just left him to fend for himself. And obviously that's a huge mistake, because now they're going to lose the only destroyer they have in the game. And even if I, was sunk pulling this off, I think it would be worth it, because like a red team without destroyer, well, it's pretty much a loss. And right now I would love to have an agile build on this ship here so I can avoid some of the incoming, you know, retaliatory fire, but it's not too bad. And I mean, it's actually not too bad at all, because I have my anti-dispersion build, and look, not many of these shells here actually hit me. And these are cruiser shells, not battleship shells. And I wish I could ask the players, like, how did you feel? Was it like really frustrating to shoot at me? And then I kind of hope they say yes, because then I know my build works. So let's get to the theme of this video here, and it is pretty much, well, it's fairly simple. I mean, Des Moines is, without a doubt, the most powerful cruiser in the game. And if you are playing this game like to win battles and to carry teams when you have to, well, there's no better cruiser than this, I think. Minotaur is probably a close second, but it kind of pales to Des Moines, especially if you go head to head. It's I mean, I have pulled it off, Minotaur versus Des Moines, but I mean, if you are facing a good player, then in theory Des Moines should always come out victorious, unless the Minotaur can, surprise Torp. So if you don't have Des Moines yet, I strongly recommend you research it, because especially if you play divisions at legendary tier, I don't think there is a better support ship than Des Moines, because it's fairly simple to play. I mean, if you just go nose in and sit there and shoot, you're gonna do fine. And if there's a destroyer in the vicinity, then you pop your radar, and if you don't kill the destroyer, maybe someone else will. And that's really all you have to do. And then if you take a bit of damage, you repair, and that's it. It's extremely simple, and it's very, very easy to get good games in this ship here, because it's just so powerful. Like the DPM, the damage output of the ship here is just beyond belief. It's a heavy cruiser, and it still has a reload around 3 or 4 seconds. I think I have 4 point something with this build here, and like that's just nuts. Like, no other ship can really match you in damage output, and it's really only if you're broadside that you're gonna get punished by anyone. So like I said, if you just stay bow in and play with a little bit of thought to your surroundings, and think ahead, where could the battleships pop up so you're not broadside to them, well, then this is not a no-brainer ship, but it's pretty close. You don't really have to get any closer than your radar radius to the action. Like, no one expects you to get in and pull off awesome torpedo stunts right under the nose of the enemy, because you don't have torpedoes. And I mean, that's a fairly good excuse for not getting too close and personal with the action. Of course, not that you should stay away from the action, that's not what I'm saying here. But anyway, and also if you play solo in this ship here, which I do, and as you saw before, it's so powerful, it's quite easy actually to at least do a lot better work in carrying teams that probably otherwise would have lost, because you have radar, you have amazing DPM, and the armor is okay. It's not bad in any way. It's pretty decent actually. And with the anti-dispersion build, you get hit a lot less than you would otherwise. And the odd shell that hits you, it's rarely a citadel, especially if you're bow on. So it really makes you stay in the fight a lot longer than you probably otherwise would, and without actually having to do anything. Because the more you sit in one spot and the more you point your bow at the enemy, well, the better you'll do. It's super simple. And the way you can just throw heavy American cruiser shells downrange every 3.5 to 4.5 seconds in this ship here, it just makes it very, very hard to actually counter with pretty much any red ship. And here the Stalingrad, I had to move here because I was actually broadside onto him, and although the dispersion build works well, it's not going to save you if you are broadside. Like, you have to be bow on or stern on to use this build to its fullest. If you're like sailing around broadside, you are going to get citadel at some point, because I mean, the dispersion is not going to be so good that no shells aren't going to citadel you. So just keep that in mind. I mean, you have to play with, you know, a modicum of, you know, basic understanding, really. So I'm moving over here to this cap here, because it looks like the guys over at sea have things under control, and I'm gonna go over here instead and see if I can grab this cap here, because that'll allow me to, 1, take the A cap, and, you know, 2, shoot at the ships at the B cap at the same time. And this is what I'm talking about, going broadside. I mean, if you do that in Des Moines, you're gonna get punished. So it makes sense to go bow in, and it makes sense to put a build on your ship that allows you to get hit even less when you go bow in. And here we have an AFK Mogami. So yeah, that is like a free kill. And I know he's AFK, but I mean, we need to get rid of him anyway, because he's sitting in the cap, and I can't cap with that guy there. So it's actually annoying, because it's taking me a long time to remove this guy. I wish he was broadside on, but I don't want to have to reposition just to hit his broadside. I mean, yes, it would give me a lot more XP, because I would get citadels instead of just, you know, HE hits. But I just can't be bothered, honestly. And also, I want to hide here just around the corner in the cap. I don't want to be visible to everyone, and I kind of have to be if I want to citadel this guy here. So unfortunately, I just have to wait till he burns down, and like some combination of burning and getting hit with HE shells. And in the meantime, we have the Stalingrad is trying to push in, and there's still a Cleveland around, and there's also a Moines around somewhere. So and there's a battleship, but he's quite far away, and he's in a really weird position that, like, he's bow into an island, so I'm assuming that he can't really hit anything from there. So yes, you can subtract that cruiser kill there from the total, because that was pretty unfair. He was AFK, but anyway, a kill is a kill. So I'm going to see if I can't grab this cap here, and I don't really have to, because we have pretty much the other 2 caps. But as you can see, there are, you know, people trying to steal the B cap from us, and that's why I could sit here and I could just grab this cap and pretty much to not worry about the B cap. But it does make sense to, you know, pop the nose out here and try to see if I can't reset some of the guys out here to, you know, make sure that, or at least try to keep the Reds from grabbing the middle cap. So this is a really good position I've put myself in here, because I'm achieving 2 things at once. I'm capping a base that we don't have already, and I am defending a base that we already have. So I mean, that's what you should try to do in this game. I mean, if the more objectives you can fulfill by, you know, being in one spot or shooting at one ship or doing whatever it is you have to do, the better. And really, that's how you win. So this Moines here, he's nearly dead, and with the DPM output of Des Moines, it's just going to be a laughing matter to take care of this guy, even though he is, you know, bow on, and he's actually quite a small target. It doesn't matter at all, because like, Montpellier is also a like an offensive commander, so you get better dispersion on your own guns, you get better fire chance, and you get better range, and I forget what the other stuff is, but it's not an agile commander. So you know, it's all about, you know, shooting your guns basically, and of course avoiding incoming fire. And with this ship, you don't need an agile build. You just have to sit there and let, you know, the algorithm in the game do the work for you. Super easy. And yeah, not a lot of, you know, activity upstairs is required to play this ship here. And here we have a Cleveland, one of the other big DPM ships in the game, and he loses out to the Des Moines, of course, because the Des Moines is a heavy cruiser and simply just does more damage. But this is going to be about the end of my adventure here, because we have the Stalingrad moving in now, but there's only him left in the game, so like, this should be pretty much, you know, a win. But again, in this game here, you never know. And it's also very typical here in the last few minutes, when there's only a few ships left, and the Reds are deciding, so who should we kill? because we probably only get to kill one more person, and of course it's always a CZ. So that's okay, that's fair enough. We got 6 kills, and if we subtract the AFK cruiser, that makes it 5 kills and a Kraken and a high caliber. So decent game, not bad at all. And I mean, we lost a lot of ship on the blue team that I really don't think we should have lost. I don't really understand how we lost that many, especially because we are so far ahead on points. So it's kind of a weird game, this one here, and a game that I probably could only have won if I was in Des Moines and just had this damage output here to remove the cruiser so quickly here in the final minutes of the battle. And of course, you know, limiting the incoming fire on myself with the anti-dispersion build. So Azure Lane Montpellier, a bit of a sleeper of a commander, really. I wasn't very impressed in the beginning because I didn't have her leveled very high, and it really took, like, you need to, you know, level her to at least legendary 3 so you get the full all-out assault perk, which is like, what is that, 11 universal commendations, so it's not cheap at all. And if you want to fully max her to legendary 4, so you get the full reload, like reduced reload of 10% as well, then of course it gets very expensive. And you also need to max out Vian and at least have Azure Lane Asuma on a pretty high level. I have a 16.2 and I'm not gonna make her any higher. Like, it's just another 0.2%. It makes no difference, I assume. So 141,000 damage, 3600 XP, 6 kills, and yeah, nearly 1500 XP more than my nearest teammate. So hope you enjoyed it, guys.